Welcome back to the Just Fantasy Baseball podcast. My name is Rami Lavi. That's Vince D'Amato. And we're in the midst of a fantastic baseball game. That's why I'm sitting on my couch at the edge of my seat, quite literally, because I am watching the Yankee game. And the Yankees just were down 4-1. As you hear this, you already know what happened, but they were down 4-1. Juan Soto hits a solo home run in the eighth. Then a monster home run from Stanton in the ninth. They rally in the ninth, a big hit to tie it by Jose Trevino. And then after you walk Soto, the struggling Aaron Judge, who hadn't had a hit all series, gets hosed on a call down and in. But it doesn't matter. That was strike two. The next, or 3 pitches later, something like that, he hits a big 2-run double down the line. And the Yankees take the lead. So they're up 6-4, and they're going to Clay Holmes. The Yankees have been skidding a little bit. Lost 3 games in a row, but a great start today from Marcus Stroman has led them to this point, and Juan Soto has been incredible. I think he's 3 for 3 with a walk, the home run. He's got a couple RBIs. So good day for Juan Soto, and hopefully it'll be a good day for the Yankees. As you already know the answer, what happened, but Clay Holmes trying to close it out. Dude, this isn't a Yankee podcast. What are we talking about? Vince, let's talk some baseball. Let's talk some fantasy baseball. What's going on, bro?
We could talk some Cubs if you want. They just ended up with a good win over the Diamondbacks to claim that series. So that was, I don't know if you
Well,
caught
I'm
any of
happy
those
after
games,
the way
but
last night went. Oh my God.
yeah, that was a tough one.
Just when you were starting to feel a little better about Alzolay also, right? Like he had a couple of good outings in a row, and then
Yeah, the city seems to be a little tepid on him. Him and Neris have not held up their end of the bargain at the back end of the bullpen. But if you do want to take it back to the Yankees, one guy that I should have put on my who's hot, but I was like, nah, it seems like low hanging fruit is Anthony Volpe. I'm so in on him. I'm so happy that he has taken off.
I
Him and
wouldn't put him
Soto
on
at the
my who's
top.
hot though. Have you seen his numbers for
Well,
this
I
week?
saw he was 0 for 5 today. I guess I haven't looked
He was
at
0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts last night. I actually have him on my not hot this week
interesting. Okay, a little sneak peek there.
because he's actually been cold. So we'll get to that.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I have a lot of guys on my who's hot and who's not. I have a ton this week. So
You want to start with some headlines? We can jump into it.
yeah, let's get into the headlines. So we talked, but right before we got on, some more pitcher injuries. One we mentioned was Bobby Miller. Obviously, we mentioned it before you and I started recording. So Bobby Miller, for the audience listening, the pitcher from the Dodgers is hurt, and the another one that was just placed on the injured list, Garrett Whitlock, who was off to such a nice start for the Red Sox, and he gets hurt as well. So a couple more pitcher injuries, kind of frustrating.
Yeah, and another injury that was frustrating for me too is Seiya Suzuki. I have him in quite a few leagues. He's out for at least a month. But yeah, the pitching one, it's going to be a topic of discussion all season, right? What can we do to alleviate some of these injuries? What steps can we take? Are we walking back the pitch clock in any way if that's, what they deem to be necessary? I think there's a lot of things that they could do, right? But we'll see how the MLB handles it. Yeah, it's tough to watch. A lot of good pitchers. Bobby Miller's an ace, so that hurts.
Yeah, it's frustrating when you look at the list of aces now who are on the shelf, but we are getting one back. So some good news on Friday, which is tomorrow as you're listening to this. Justin Verlander going to be making his season debut. And look, I don't know if he's still an ace. Whenever he's healthy, he's been an ace. Even the last, this second half of his career, this renaissance that he's had on the back end of his career since coming to Houston hasn't slowed down at all. So I think he's still a great pitcher in the league, one of the best pitchers in the league. And so I'm looking forward as the Blue Jays have the top of the lineup up with 1 out in the 9th inning, and they have the tying run at the plate. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm locked in. But I'm excited to see Verlander. What do you expect from Justin Verlander? I already have him in, I think maybe even in both of my leagues. I took him back into the draft, and you know what? For a mid-April return, if he can give me Justin Verlander for most of this season, like 5.5 months of Justin Verlander, God, I'll take it.
Yeah, the guy's 41 years old, and I still expect big things from him. I don't expect him to return to ace level. I think to anticipate that and expect that is just kind of foolish.
Okay, but ace has to be adjusted. The mindset of ace, considering how many pitchers are out and how many pitchers are actually available, like if he's, I don't know, a top 20 pitcher in the league the rest of the way, I'll take it.
I would take it considering
slow
probably where
ground
you
ball,
drafted
Volpe.
him.
He's going to first. All right, okay, cool. Continue.
Considering where you drafted him, if he's a top 30, maybe even 40 pitcher the rest of the way, I think you got your money's worth. And I think that's within the range of possibilities. I don't know if I would go as high as top 20. We certainly could see it maybe for some stretches, but not only does he have to perform, but he has to, again, stay healthy. And so I don't doubt that he can. And I think Houston's a very smart organization. So I think they'll take care of him. But guy's 41 years old. So, we see it all the time. We saw it with Scherzer too, right? He's another one who, he's just about turned 40. So got to stay healthy and pitch well. And we know that he can pitch well, but can he do both? So that'll be interesting to see.
You know what's interesting? His interview a couple of weeks ago. Oh my God. Oh, who was okay?
Nobody can see what you're looking at here.
Okay. I gotta set the stage. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is at the plate with 2 outs in the 9th inning as the tying run. Bottom of the 9th, he's the tying run at the plate. Runner in scoring position. Vlad at the plate. The first pitch was low. Now, the umpire has been calling the low ball a strike all game. I mentioned Aaron Judge at bat earlier. I thought he just tossed Guerrero because Guerrero turned and argued, which would be crazy if he would have tossed Guerrero in that spot. What was that?
Are they still arguing right now or what?
So no, he tossed the manager, Schneider.
Wow.
He did not toss Guerrero, but when they showed the camera, it was very quick. So they didn't show Schneider say anything. So it's 0-1 on Guerrero, but he is the tying run at the plate. And if you're ahead, I'm watching this on MLB TV right now on the stream right now. I don't know what's happening. Don't look.
No, I have it on. I'm just ESPN. So
So I don't know I don't know which one's ahead, but as you're listening to this, you know what happened already. We were talking about Houston and Justin Verlander, obviously, and we're gonna keep cutting until this game is over.
I know what the heck. No, everyone's already gonna know. Let's talk about some who's hot. You got some hot guys for me?
Wait, one more thing. Yeah, this kind of leads into who's hot, but sure. Tyler O'Neill stays hot. Continue. What did he have? His 7th or 8th home run of the year already. So, dude is ridiculous. You know what? How about this? I'll let you talk about your hot guys while I watch the end of this game. This is now the Yankees are 1 strike away. So tell me who's hot, and I'll break out in celebration to cut you off, or I'll be very disappointed.
I have a question though. First, is one of your guys who's hot? Is it a Cubs player? Do you have any Cubs players on your who's hot?
I let you take him. I know who you're talking about.
I didn't want to because I felt like you'd ridicule me, but yeah, I will say just real quick, Michael Busch has been absolutely on a tear. 5 home runs in 5 games.
If you didn't watch the end of the Yankee game, go watch it. Anthony Volpe made a diving play up the middle to save a run and end the game.
Nice, love to hear it. Yeah.
So he's hot in the field, so at least you got something right on that.
But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Who was I talking about? Michael Busch. Yes,
Michael Busch. Yes, I saw him, and I figured you'd go for him. So,
just been on a tear for the Cubs. Their best hitter by far. Didn't have one in the last 2 games, but that's okay because he's still putting up great at bats. So he is one. He's not really on my list, but was one that I wanted to touch on. Another guy, my first one that's actually on my list is Vinny Pasquantino. A lot of people.
I saw that too. He's looking good. Yep. These are both guys who are guys that I looked at and I'm like, man, this is why I wanted to add so many hot guys. But you'll see once I get to my list in a second.
Yeah, Vinny P, one that a lot of people were worried about. Right, he came coming off the shoulder surgery. People were drafting him in the top 150, 175. Like that's a pretty hefty draft price for a guy coming off of such a big injury. But especially for the first few weeks, he wasn't really showing it. Through April 9th, his average is 108. But since then, he's brought it all the way up to 250. He's got 3 home runs, he's got 10 RBIs in that span. So he's brought his slash line up to 250, 343, 467 with an 810 OPS. If that's where he lives, most fantasy owners will be happy with that. But I expect bigger things. His walk to strikeouts is 9-7, 9 walks to 7 strikeouts. So his plate approach has been good. I think it was just maybe a little bit of bad luck in the beginning, but that shoulder certainly seems healthy. So he's my first who's hot, and go get Vinny P.
What's funny is one of my headlines was what's wrong with the Yankees and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge gets the go-ahead hit. The Yankees have a huge comeback win, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, the Yankees are fine. Best win of the season, maybe. Sometimes that's how it works. Baseball's a weird sport. All right, my first hot, because I only have 2, but you'll understand in a second. I have 5, but I have 2. My first one is Aaron Nola, who had 9 strikeouts and 7 1/3 innings, was fantastic. Good. So he's my first hot. I think we both talked about this. I'm not a huge Aaron Nola guy. I've said that. I've always been more of a Zach Wheeler guy over a Nola guy. I think he's the better pitcher of the 2. But Aaron Nola's been off to a really good start. So I'm happy for him. By the way, another guy who had a great start was Michael King today. Almost, and he took the loss though, which sucks. Seven
Mhm.
and 2/3 innings, gives up a run. I think he had a ton of strikeouts also. So those are two pitchers who are hot.
My next guy is one that is slightly near and dear to my heart, is William Contreras. And I'm sorry this might hurt you because you loved Adley, you're a big Adley guy, but William is the best catcher right now in baseball, fantasy baseball, and it's not even close. Guy is just on a tear, and a big reason is just how hard he hits the ball. He's hitting at almost 97 miles an hour average exit velocity, which is just that's tops in the league, stupid, ridiculous, unbelievable. So he doesn't have the best launch angle, but it doesn't matter when you hit the ball as hard as he does. 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, 358 average, OPS over 1,000. William Contreras is a dude. So I've even seen discussions that he could be the #1 dynasty catcher at this point, or at least in that conversation. I don't know if I'm quite that high, but he certainly is warranting a discussion. He looks great so far.
All right, my next one is the Baltimore Orioles, and specifically these four guys, because I don't know if you've seen the numbers that these four guys are putting up. It's ridiculous. This is just in the last week. Cedric Mullins is batting .423, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 6 runs scored, and a stolen base. This is, again, just in the last week. Gunnar Henderson batting .394, or sorry, this is OBP. When I say batting, I mean OBP. On base, .394, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and a stolen base. Jordan Westburg, .533 on base in the last week, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. And then Colton Cowser also in the last week, .433 on base with 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. What in the fuck is going on with the Baltimore Orioles? They are at home. They're putting out promos with Cal Ripken having his desk set up at shortstop. I don't know if you saw that. He has like his desk set up. He's like, I'm used to being here in my office. What's the problem? So like, my freaking God, this team, like, I knew they'd be good. Jesus. All of them this good. And even the old guys like fucking Cedric Mullins. My God, the Baltimore Orioles, it's been insane to watch. And as much as I don't want to admit it, because I'm a Yankee fan and I worked down there for a couple of years, and there's so many people who know me, and all my friends like to troll me and whatever because of when I worked there, and they weren't good. It was fun for me. But now that I'm not working there, this team is incredible.
Yeah, and one of those guys you didn't even mention, Jackson Holliday, right? And one of the guys who we anticipate will
Well,
get
I didn't
going
mention
very,
him
very
yet. I'm going to
soon.
mention him soon.
Yeah. And they are just loaded in the minor leagues. We talk about them all the time. So one of the most fun teams to watch in baseball. And yeah, I hope they keep it up. And I think they absolutely can keep it up. I think that's a good call out for the who's hot. My last one is kind of one that I don't think anyone expected to be this good, and that is Ronaldo Lopez of the Atlanta Braves. From the Chicago White Sox, the Braves signed him, and out of spring training, it was kind of like, is he going to be in a reliever role? Is he going to be a starter? And he ended up winning the 5th starter job over Smith Shawver and Bryce Elder, and he has proven it to be the right decision so far. And 18 innings, allowing just 1 earned run over that span. And funny enough, it was to the White Sox, but 18 strikeouts as well, just 6 walks. He's looked phenomenal. 2 wins, 3 quality starts, in 3 starts. So he is certainly looking like the real deal. And if he's still available, he's rostered in 74% of leagues, but there's a chance he's still available because people are like, ew, Ronaldo Lopez, no way. Yeah, way. Like, I would go buy him, go get him. And I'm not expecting sustained success, but I think the Braves know what they're doing with pitching, and Ronaldo's shown flashes in the past, right? We've seen this from him before, just not for a long period of time. And I think now that he's got some run and he's figured it out a little bit, it looks like his next 2 starts are against Miami and Cleveland. So certainly would love to start him there.
All right, my first not hot, because we talk so much about the Orioles and them being hot, brings me to my first not hot, and that is Jackson Holliday. A little bit of foreshadowing there by you. Congrats. He's 1 for 22. His first 22 at-bats in the majors. He has 1 hit. His on-base so far in his career is .087. So not a great start for Jackson Holliday. I don't expect him to be this bad. Don't panic. But Jackson Holliday, not hot.
Yeah, there's and we knew this when he got brought up. If he struggled, there's a realistic chance, and I don't anticipate it, but he could be sent down at some point. Like, if he continues to struggle, go down, figure out yourself. Obviously we don't need you right now. I don't want to sound like that, but they're clicking on all cylinders. So it's not like they need his bat in the lineup or anything. Um, Plenty of guys that can figure out. Gunnar Henderson is just on fire too. I don't know if you saw his home run today, but just he's a dude. My first who's cold, who's not hot is O'Neal Cruz. He did have 2 hits today, but before that, just reading the strikeouts, he had 1 strikeout
I'm
today.
just laughing because you know that I was at the game the other night at the Mets game, and I think he was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts or something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah, 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. That was on April
Yep.
14th, and then 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. His average is at 234. It was 219 as of yesterday. He had 2 hits today against the Mets. But OPS of 635, 3 home runs, 1 steal. Like just lackluster, you know. And it's just kind of weird when we saw him in spring training. We expected him to just kind of have this monster mammoth year, and he's gotten cold. He's cold out of the gate. So just kind of a little weird. You know, I anticipate him striking out 30% of the time. He's approaching 50 or 40 right now, but you know, I expect better days, but he's ice cold right now.
All right, I have 3 outfielders in my league that are all just killing me right now. This week in particular, they are combined at the plate 2 for quick math here for 34.
I'll kill you.
They are Spencer Steer, Evan Carter, and Lane Thomas.
Which
2
is
for their
weird
last
because
34 combined.
Carter and Steer were, you know, some of the hottest players in
They had
baseball
good
for the first
weekends.
couple weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Just kind of
it's
weird.
rough.
Baseball's wild.
083 on base for 2 of them and 091 for Spencer Steer. So not great for me. Volpe was another one that I threw up there just because he also was cold. But I need these guys to turn around. That's my outfield. You know what I mean? In this
Yeah.
league where I have 2 utility spots, but I think it's only 4 outfield spots. I need those guys to play to their, to what they're capable of. Because
Yeah.
we talked about Lane Thomas a few times. He was a buy low a while ago. Maybe you still have him as a buy low because he's still struggling. But you got to start at some point to wonder when he's going to turn it on.
Yeah, his BABIP right now is under 240, Lane Thomas. So I mean, he's hitting the ball fine, almost 90 miles an hour. He's not whiffing. He's got 7 steals. I anticipate Lane Thomas still as a buy. I'm not panicking.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, I have him on enough teams, so maybe this is just me talking myself into it. But I'm not selling or panicking on Lane Thomas. If anything, I'm maybe buying a little bit. I wouldn't chase after him, but my next cold is Edard Julian of the Minnesota Twins. We were
I saw somebody
expecting
cut him in my league.
I don't know if I would cut him, but I see why. You know, people anticipated him to run away with that second base job,
In
which
Yahoo
it
leagues,
has
by the
been,
way,
but
just in
sure.
case you're wondering, he's rostered only 50%, only on 15%, 52, percent of teams in Yahoo leagues.
Yeah, and
5
Yahoo tends to run smaller roster sizes, so
I
that's
agree.
probably why. So, but versus 87% rostered in Fantrax. So,
Okay.
you know, that just goes to show they are quite a bit different. So if you're in Yahoo League, maybe go
Fantrax we know
think
is the
about him.
fantasy hardos. So yeah, continue.
Yeah, so he has been ice cold, just 1 hit over his last 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and then another, you know, kind of cold streak. He did have 2 home runs on April 10th and then 1 on April 13th, but he just has not been good. His average is hovering around 175 to 200. Just not the kind of start. And I think the thing that is most surprising is that he's not getting on base, right? And we anticipated him and we know him to be an OBP machine. And so far, he's got 24 strikeouts to just 7 walks. I don't know what the cause of that is. Maybe pitchers are attacking him. They're not letting him walk as much. They're making him put in play. I don't know. But he's currently, 266 OBP is not going to cut it. We'll see if he's able to turn around. He's one that if you cut him, I wouldn't blame you, but I'm certainly not panicking. Yeah, 35% strikeout rate is a little high, but I'm not really worried about anything else underlying right now. So we'll see. He's definitely cold right now.
Do you have anyone else who's cold, or are you ready to move on to the buy and sell?
I do have one more cold,
Please.
and I think we forgot a hot that I think we need to touch on. But my last cold is Josh Hader. He has he's killed me in a few leagues. It's hard to watch. I think all of Houston right now is cold, so maybe you can just throw them in there. But
It's
know,
different with the closer, though, it feels like, right?
well, yeah, I mean, his ERA is over 8 right now, 1 save, 2 losses, a blown save. Like, it's just it kills your ratios when he comes in for an inning or less and he gives up, 3 runs or something like that. It's just so yeah, it does feel a little bit worse. I think better days are ahead for him as well. But the one guy that I think we should touch on, oh, actually, you know what? I realized it's in the mailbag, so we're gonna save it.
We will save it. That's a good tease, radio tease right there. Before we do the mailbag, we have a couple other things. And we'll start with buy low and sell high. So who are you buying?
I am buying George Springer. He
I
has
like it.
started off the year very cold.
Well, he just
Three.
got on base to end that game. Oh, no, he didn't. He actually, no, I'm wrong.
No,
He
he didn't.
actually, it was the fielder's choice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Um, some of the things that are down that you don't like to see is sprint speed's fallen. Doesn't look like he's hitting the ball as hard, but he's got a great xWOBA of 340. His strikeouts to walk look good, 13 walks to 10 strikeouts. I don't think it's necessarily just him being bad. I think it's more of a product of bad luck. Sure, there's probably some degradation with age, but I don't expect him to be a 220 hitter with subpar power. I think he's going to turn the power on, and I anticipate him running, even though the sprint speed's down. He stole 20 bases last year. If he ends up 2020 this year, I'm not going to be shocked with a good average. Excuse me. So George Springer is one that I am certainly buying right now.
We talked about this before we started recording. I'm buying James McArthur. I don't know if it might be too late. Like, he was a guy, you might not be buying him so low anymore. Especially if you're in a league that saves only, that everyone's scrambling for closers. He pretty much won over the full-time closer job for the Kansas City Royals. In the last week, he has 9 strikeouts and 6 innings pitched and 3 saves. That's really good for a guy. And it seems like he's definitely won over that full job. It's kind of closer by committee, but it seems like that job is his to lose at this point. And so I picked him up in my league. I still see, obviously, we talked about this, Yahoo leagues tend to run a little smaller, but 45% of Yahoo leagues. So he's still available out there in a lot of Yahoo leagues. Fantrax, again, Fantasy Hardo is probably still already, probably more have him. But if you're going to laugh at it every time, I'll laugh at it every time also, and I'll keep saying
It's funny. It's true. Yeah.
Time.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, I love the James McArthur. I picked him up in a few leagues. I actually drafted him in a couple leagues in my FYPDs. So yeah, I was kind of not calling this, but he was one that I was taking the gamble on. And so far that gamble has paid off for me. And the sell high that I have, I feel like, again, maybe a little bit of low hanging fruit, but I want to get this out there because if you have this player, if you've picked him up, if you can flip him for something, I absolutely would. And that is Jesse Winker of the Washington Nationals.
You talked about him on Sunday. He's actually a guy I was going to talk about on Sunday, and then I didn't, but you did. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So far to start the season, he's hitting 364 with a 485 OBP and a 582 slug. That's not sustainable. I'm sorry. Like, I love Jesse Winker. I'm so happy that he's making it work, or that he's, maybe he's figured something out, but he's not this good. If you can sell on him, I absolutely would. I don't anticipate him to fall off a cliff, but I think more likely that he falls off a cliff than all of a sudden he's just this like late career Taylor Ward type player. Taylor Ward's also been very hot.
James McArthur, 53% of leagues roster, or 50%, 53% roster. So
yeah, that's not bad. He may still be available. Yeah. I even see 43% drafted. Yeah, 53. Yeah. Go get James McArthur.
I would. All right. My sell is actually someone who I just mentioned earlier, and he's been so hot to start the season. It hasn't just been this week, but that is Cedric Mullins. I think Cedric Mullins, for 2 reasons. One, it's just about competing for spots now. Like, I know he's still the center fielder for that team. And did you see the freaking play he made yesterday?
No, I missed it.
Oh my God. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago. He left his feet diving.
Oh, you know what? I did see that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable diving catch. Play of the week, maybe even up there for play of the year. Definitely so far, maybe going forward by the end of the year. First of all, I don't think he's this guy anymore. I know, better lineup. He's hot. He's off to a great start. I don't know if he can keep it up. If there's anyone in that roster that I don't trust, like all these young guys, like it feels like this is who they're going to be, right? And I'm sure they'll go through their ups and downs, but if you can sell high on Mullins, assuming he might lose a little playing time to some of these guys, and then also maybe he just cools off a little bit to the means of what he's been the last couple of years. I know a few years ago he was an all-star, but the last couple of years, this is not who he's been. I think you can get a big haul for Cedric Mullins right now and go get it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, health has been kind of a big question mark for him over the last few
Yep.
years. So we'll see if he's able to stay healthy and keep it up. But yeah, he's got the power, he's got the speed.
And my point is that I don't know if he can or can't, but
Right.
I think like if you're risking him keeping it up versus trying to sell him and say, oh, he'll keep it up. This is his year. If he's going to be healthy, blah, blah, blah. This lineup's incredible. I think now would be a good time as ever to get rid of him and get a haul back.
That sounds like someone else that is an outfielder that I've kind of said that about. Starling Marty, is that his name? Marty. I've said
You
that about him, right? And
he is so attractive. We were sitting in right field. And we were just admiring how beautiful of a man he is.
he's
I'm
a
not even
beautiful
kidding.
man. Yeah, you can't. You
He
can't
comes
argue
out with
that,
a
right?
baseball in his back pocket and makes his butt pop. It's fantastic. And he gives
Um,
like so every half inning, he gives like 3 baseballs to the kids in right field, which is
oh,
great.
that's cute. Yeah,
Good
yeah.
dude.
So
Just easy to root for. Great at
is there
baseball.
any reason why you're buying Starling Marte to stay
I'm
healthy,
not
but not a Cedric Mullins?
I'm not buying him. I just don't think you're going to get a huge haul for Cedric for Starling Marte right now. I don't think anyone's buying it. Whereas Cedric
Sure,
Mullins, I think you probably could get a
people
haul
will.
for. I still don't trust him. Meaning maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I'm willing to take that risk and say, okay, I'm trading away this risk for maybe something that's more of a sure thing, and then some. You know what I mean? So that's why I like him as a sell. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wanted to get your take because I agree with you. Cedric Mullins was not too long ago a top 50 player, and
100%.
people are
Like I
still
said, I
probably
think it was
thinking
what
that.
two,
Yeah,
3 years ago. Like
yeah,
he was
right.
the lone all-star on that Orioles team
Yeah,
before all these guys. I remember I made the case when I lived in Baltimore. I was like, they should be signing him to a long-term extension. They should be doing what happened. It was right around the Wander Franco contract. Now the Wander Franco contract kind of didn't work out, but hey, I think
kind
we
of.
bring that contract up maybe once a week on this show. I,
Do
I
we
feel like
really?
we
I don't think
I
we've
feel like we
ever.
brought
Oh,
it up
maybe.
before. I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that was I'm trying to think of a good pun, but I can't think of anything. But that didn't work out. I mean, it was probably a minor misjudgment. I would say that's the best I could come up with. Minor misjudgment. I don't know.
Aha, yeah.
Um,
We see what you did there.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's the best I can do. An oversight on the Rays' part. Uh, that's all.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You want to update our leagues?
Yeah, so it looks like if we head to the Sandlot League, Rami has done okay. You're 8-12 so far this year, and I am 7. I got totally crushed last week, 9-1. Some of the guys in my team were just
9.
they had yeah, it was horrible. I mean, Harper was out. Well, I mean,
Well, I'm
injuries
ahead of you.
galore,
I saw
Harper
that.
and yeah,
Pretty pumped about that.
Francisco Lindor. So I'm not panicking, but it certainly was a big lump. I'm up 7-3 right now in my matchup, but
Well, I
yeah,
forgot to set my lineup this week, so that was fun. I set it on Monday, but there was the 11 a.m. game on
yep,
Monday.
yep. Hmm.
So yeah, that
A
sucks.
couple of my guys just got hit around. Like I think Aaron Nola had a bad start. Brendan Pfaadt has had a couple of bad starts. So Louis Varland had a bad start. So just some bad decisions that kind of tanked my ERAs, and my offense just hasn't gotten it going. So that is kind of my update there. I don't know. Do you have takes on your team, or just in general?
Again, I'm still, trying to feel it out with the whole with like the whole pitching thing, trying to figure out the best way to set up my pitching for the week. Because
Mhm.
I'm setting it up for a full week and I can't change it. I'm up so far this week. I'm up on the day, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Cody Bellinger has had an awesome week. Ezekiel Duran has had a pretty good week. So there are some guys. I mean, Bellinger for like so far this week, he has a home run, just 1 RBI, but 2 runs scored. He's got a 500 on base, so that's pretty good. Solaire's been good. This is just today, so I don't know why I'm saying this week, but Solaire's been good. So it's been let me pull up this week because I know Bellinger's been good. Yeah. Again, so I've had some positives, but trying to figure out how to rotate my lineup properly for the week has been the
Mhm.
one adjustment I've made. I haven't even looked at the best ball. Have you looked at that?
I have it right now. So Rami, it looks like Mr. Mock Drafter 10, you're in third place right now. Your team
Hey!
is kind of hitting on all cylinders.
Oh yeah.
Yandy, I'm sorry, Yainer Diaz. This is the league you
Mhm.
have him, Freeman. Tyro Estrada has not panned out for you yet.
I know. By the
He's been
way, in
kind of
none of my
cold.
leagues.
Which is
Yeah.
weird. So you have Bo Bichette, you have Bryce Harper, a lot of cold guys on this team. I'm kind of curious where
Well,
your
Harper
stuff is
was
coming from,
hot
but it's
last week.
right. But I think it's your pitching because Cease has been on fire to start the year. Merrill
Grayson
Kelly
has
has
been
been great.
awesome.
Grayson Rodriguez,
Yep.
Severino was a great ad. So yeah, you must be getting a
I'm
lot of
kind of
points
pissed
from your
about Kodai. I ended up picking up
pitching.
Kodai, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm feeling nervous about that. But how good has the Mets starting pitching been? The Mets now have
Mhm.
won, I want to say, 10 of their last 13 games. They're 10-8.
Yeah, I think I saw Ryan posted. He's like, maybe the Mets are actually good, right?
Yeah, they swept the Pirates who came into City Field hot, and they just
Yeah.
freaking blasted them, 2 comeback wins, and then today just beat them again, just beat them down, a nice win. A couple pinch hit go ahead hits, the first or tying big hits, whatever it was, the first couple of nights. So good series for the Mets, 10-8, considering they started 0-5 and looked like they were going to be just terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Yep.
right. You ready to
I-
move on?
I'm ready for your
To
prospect
some
report. Hit me.
prospect stuff. So the two guys that I want to mention because they are coming up now and should have an impact immediately in fantasy. First one is Jack Leiter. He has
Yes.
been one of the most hyped names coming out of college. He was a couple
Have I
years
told my
ago.
Jack Leiter story on the podcast?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. I'm glad I did.
And last season, he was a big riser, right? A lot of people were kind of cooled off from him because he came into the league and he was horrible when he first came into the minor leagues, and he had some injuries, but it looks like he's kind of put it all past him. We'll see, but he is going to come up and make a start. Is it Friday? I actually don't have that written down, but he will be starting for the Rangers very soon. So if Leiter has not been added, I anticipate him being an ad in pretty much every format because, um, he's got the upside of an SP2 kind of talent. We'll see if
He's starting
everything kind of
tomorrow, Thursday. As you're listening to this,
Thursday.
probably
Okay.
Thursday. It's a 1:10 p.m. start against the Tigers in Detroit.
Perfect. Well, he is one that it looks like he is one of the most added players this week. So if he's still available in your league, I would go grab Jack Leiter. And the next one has also been added quite a bit, and that is outfielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Andy Pajes. He's a guy who a lot of people, again, were kind of turned off over the last few years. He's a little bit older well, I guess he's only 23, but it feels like he's been around forever because he was drafted and had a lot of shoulder problems and just kind of wasn't ever able to stay healthy. But he's finally up and he's got
Still no
big power.
Heston
So
Kierstead, huh?
no, I think if anything, it's gonna be Kobe Mayo first. I
Yeah,
really
you
do.
said that last week.
hmm
I don't know.
So
I'm really hoping because Heston Kierstead, I mean, the Orioles seem to have a type. He looks like Jackson Holiday and he looks like Gunnar. They all have like this similar
the
look.
long blonde hair, they look like
Yeah,
they're
that long
10.
flowy
Yeah.
blonde hair and the very young, like
They
bothersome
almost
to
look
me,
like they'd be
young
like
face.
like
Adley.
hockey players,
Look like they'd
like
be either hockey players or a boy band. You
sure,
know,
yeah.
one or the
But
other.
the last thing I just want to say about Pajes is he had a great showing so far in AAA. 5 home runs, 17% walk rate, 11%. I'm sorry, 17% strikeout, 11% walk. So he just looks good. Power's there, 5 home runs. So we'll see how it transitions. Again, don't spend all your fab on these guys, but certainly go make an effort to add them because they could be league changers.
You ready for some mailbag questions? That's not what I was gonna ask. We're gonna do mailbag questions, but you ready for some
Yeah, what if
NBA
I'm not
playoffs?
ready? Oh no,
Yeah. Did you
I'm
watch the
over the
hockey
board.
last night? I don't. Were you
No,
following this?
I don't follow hockey. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say your boy Patrick Kane got screwed.
Did he?
Um, well, because what happened was actually really funny. So the Caps were playing against the Flyers, and the Flyers needed to win in regulation in order to have a chance to make the playoffs. They needed a regulation win. They needed the Red Wings to lose. So, but the Capitals needed to win, and not the Capitals. The Capitals just needed to win to get in. The Red Wings needed to win, and they needed the Capitals to lose, so the Flyers to win to get in, right?
Right.
The Capitals tied the game after they pulled their goalie with 3 seconds left in the game right? They tied the game with the extra attacker on. And right after that happened in DC, or in Philly rather, Philly decides we're going to pull our own goalie in a tie game because we can't go to overtime or we lose anyway. We're out of the playoffs anyway. So they pulled their goalie in a tie game and gave up the game-winning goal in regulation and lost 2-1, which knocked the Red Wings, who had just had this incredible comeback, out of the playoffs. Wild stuff. Just classic. And now the Rangers are going to be playing against Washington in the first round, which is so funny. I'm going to be in Detroit next weekend, and then it sucks because I'm going to be there the NFL draft is next weekend and all that. But I would have loved to have been there for the NFL draft straight into, playoff hockey, or vice versa. Would have been fantastic if the Rangers were playing a game there. But no, they're going to be in DC, which is idiotic, but they'll play against the Caps. That'll be really fun. This is a baseball podcast still.
Yeah.
NC Baseball Podcast. And I have a couple fan questions for you. So from Sam, our
Hi,
mailbag question. Are you ready? Because before you said you weren't ready.
Yeah, I just said hi, Sam. Hi, how you doing?
Oh, Sam, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I told you he DM'd me, so he DM'd
Sure.
the
Okay.
the fantasy account. I told him we were going to respond on the podcast.
Sure.
And he said he drafted Ellie over CJ. All right.
Yeah.
Over CJ Abrams, and regretted it. He was offered the 1-for-1 trade a week ago, and he accepted today after Ellie's hot start. Who will finish with the higher season rank?
That's a tough question. I mean, I didn't expect. I'll start off with this. So this was the guy that I was going to say who's hot. It's CJ Abrams has absolutely shocked me.
He's one of my plant the flags guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always knew that he was young, but I didn't expect him to have the power surge that he's had so far this season.
Yeah, that's what you said, and that was fair. Yeah. It was based on fact.
He didn't hit the ball hard enough. And so I'm like, okay, I know he's young. He can still maybe hit the ball a little harder, but I just didn't see it. Now he's got 5 home runs. Like, I was not expecting that. I will say that. As far as who finishes higher, I still am going to go with Ellie. I still do think Ellie finishes higher. Even with kind of the slow start that Ellie had, he's still got more home run, or I guess the same amount of home runs now, but he's still got more steals than Abrams. He's ranked higher on the Razzball player. And the reason why I think it's Ellie is because Ellie has been perceived as having this cold start, and Abrams had this like blistering start, and Ellie's still like a little bit higher in ranking than Abrams. So I anticipate them kind of going back to the norms. I think Ellie will play a little bit better. I think Abrams will play a little bit worse. So I am going to lean Ellie in that one. But wouldn't be shocked if it was Abrams at this point.
Sam, oh Sam, you may have lucked into the right pick by drafting Ellie, but you traded him away. And I love CJ Abrams. I'm a big CJ Abrams guy. I wonder what their ADP was. I wonder where this was in your draft, Sam, because I think Ellie's was probably higher, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So
the one thing I do want to mention too that kind of gets lost in all of this is counting stats. Right now, Ellie's got 16 runs, 11 RBIs. Abrams with 10 runs and 11 RBIs. There's just not a chance that Abrams is gonna put up the same amount of counting stats because of how bad that Washington team is. There's Ellie has a chance for 90. I don't see that with Abrams. So
yeah, unless Lane Thomas freaking picks it up.
Yeah, but then Jesse Winker's going to cool off at the same time.
That's true. Jesse Winker is going to cool off. The other question was from Mo, 10-team league, and he said he needs pitching because a couple of his pitchers went down. So he was offered to trade away Michael Harris for Max Fried and one of the following. So he'd be giving away Michael Harris, and he'd be getting Max Fried back. And in addition to Max Fried, he'd be getting Eloy Jimenez and Eugenio Suarez, Billy Donovan, or Jordan Walker. Which of the 4 should he take? And should he accept that trade?
The only possible one would be Jordan Walker.
That's
None
what
of
he
those
said.
other
He said that's
guys.
what I told him. I texted him back. Yep.
But honestly, I'm still holding on to Michael Harris for that. I mean, I don't know how bad you need pitching or what your league size. I mean, 10-team league, you're telling there's got to be arms out there who are still worthwhile to pick
Exactly.
up.
And I kind of like his
Um,
pitching.
so who are some other arms? Who are some arms that he has?
Let me see. He
Because
sent me his.
Michael Harris, I think, could return first, top
He
15,
has
top 20
Glass
value.
now, Cease, and Castillo. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
like, and
you don't
Severino
need Max Fried. Don't
and
trade
Diaz. Like, come on,
Harris.
you don't
No,
need pitching.
sorry, Mo. Yeah, no, keep Michael Harris. Michael Harris is a stud. And I saw the other day, I haven't been following, but just off the top of my head, I think Michael Harris is finally hitting up higher in the lineup. Like that was a big knock on Harris for a long time, was he was hitting 9th. I think I saw him hitting 2nd the other day. Where is he hitting today? Today is Wednesday. Let's see. Where did he hit today? Unless it was today that I looked. Yeah, I hit 2nd today. So, I don't know if that's going to stick. I don't know. I haven't been following too closely his position in the lineup, but it looks like yesterday he hit 2nd. So I assume he's hitting 2nd. Like it doesn't get much better than
In that
Michael
lineup.
Harris in that lineup. He hits the ball
Exactly.
extremely hard. He's got speed. He's got great defense. He's going to stick in center field. So yeah, I wouldn't even if you're going to trade Michael Harris, you would need, in my opinion, like Corbin Burns.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You would need a better pitcher
maybe
than that.
plus like Corbin Burns and a little something. Like it just he's that good. So and with the state of pitching, right? You could get Max Fried, and then hey, a week later, Max Fried's out for the year, right? We don't know. So Fried's had his own injury problems. I don't know if he's even going to throw a full season this year. He'll probably be on some sort of limitation. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, and dude, listen to the podcast. He keeps telling me, he's like, "Oh, just answer me." I'm like, "No, listen to the podcast, and you'll have your answer." All right. That's gonna do it for the episode. Made me mad. All right.
Go tell him. Listen.
Good episode though. I like.
Thanks. You too. Thanks.
Yeah, I enjoy this. So we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to everyone a little bit later. Until next time, everybody, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. See ya.